What is up, YouTube? My name is bigboysnacksjonnytv, aka what kind of snacks you want, because I got playing go around. As you can tell by the title of the thumbnail in the video, this is my WWE NXT HeatWave review and highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please watch the video from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more Western content that I do on the channel, because I'm on the road to 11K and path to YouTube partner. Follow my social media down below in the description, and go check out my AEW Forbidden Door review and highlights. And that's all I gotta say. Let's get started. Now, WWE NXT HeatWave was a very good show for what it was, and that's all I gotta say. Alright, it says WWE NXT HeatWave opens up with several stars arriving at the arena, and we get a video package looking at the show. Vic Joseph and WWE Hall of Famer Booker T then welcomes us, and we get the entrances of the first match of the PLE. Alright, so we get the first match, WWE NXT Women's Championship #1 Contenders match. Triple threat match, Jado Parker versus Kelani Jordan versus Lola Vice. And this was a good match, man. This was a good match, but Jado Parker should have won this match. Don't get me wrong, I love Lola Vice just like I love Kelani Jordan. But justice for Jado Parker, man. WWE is doing Jado Parker dirty. But this was a good triple threat match. The match starts off with Jado Parker sending Kelani Jordan to the mat and Lola Vice hitting some forearms. Kelani Jordan and Lola Vice then hit a double super kick on Jado Parker to send her to the floor. Kelani Jordan then gets a roll-up for a near fall, and she knocks Jado Parker off the apron. Lola Vice then avoids a few kicks, and Jado Parker clotheslines Lola Vice and Kelani Jordan. Jado Parker then slams Lola Vice and Kelani Jordan. Jado Parker then sends Kelani Jordan and Lola Vice head together. Jado Parker then delivers some shoulders to Kelani Jordan in the corner, and she puts Kelani Jordan in the turnbuckles and an Irish whip Lola Vice into Kelani Jordan. She then places Lola Vice on top of Kelani Jordan for a springboard city splash. Jado Parker then sends Kelani Jordan to the floor. Jado Parker then hits a fallaway slam on Lola Vice for near fall. Kelani Jordan then hits a kick to the back, and Kelani Jordan kicks Lola Vice from the apron. Kelani Jordan then leaps over Lola Vice and rolls through. Kelani Jordan then places Lola Vice in the ropes and hits a forearm, then hits a springboard hesitation guillotine leg drop for a near fall. Kelani Jordan then hits some forearms on the floor, and Jado Parker fires back. Kelani Jordan then sends Jado Parker into the turnbuckles. Jado Parker then blocks a head scissors takedown, but Kelani Jordan eventually hits the move on the floor. Kelani Jordan then hits a waist lock on Lola Vice, and Lola Vice hits a standing switch. Kelani Jordan then hits a DDT on Lola Vice for a near fall. Kelani Jordan then pulls Lola Vice into position, but Jado Parker pushes Kelani Jordan off the turnbuckles. Lola Vice then hits a triangle on Jado Parker. Jado Parker then hits some forearms to escape, but Kelani Jordan hits a 450 splash onto Jado Parker. Lola Vice then goes to the floor, and Jado Parker goes to the apron. Jado Parker then hits a shoulder forearm the apron. Kelani Jordan then hits some forearms on Jado Parker, and Jado Parker sets up for a suplex on the apron, but Kelani Jordan blocks it. Jado Parker then hits a double thrust to the throat. Kelani Jordan is then sent back into the ring, but she lands on her feet and hits a super kick on Jado Parker. Kelani Jordan then hits a twisted pescado on Lola Vice and Jado Parker. Lola Vice is then sent back into the ring, and Kelani Jordan hits a handspring cutter for a near fall. Kelani Jordan then cinches in a single leg crab on Lola Vice. Lola Vice then kicks Kelani Jordan away, and Lola Vice goes for an O'Connor roll into a dragon sleeper. Kelani Jordan then flips over and kicks Lola Vice. Lola Vice then hits some kicks on Kelani Jordan, and she does the same to Jado Parker. Lola Vice then hits running hips into the corner on Jado Parker and Kelani Jordan. She then continues a few more times on both women. Lola Vice then hits a kick on Jado Parker and a Sato suplex on Kelani Jordan for a near fall. Lola Vice then goes for a dragon sleeper on Kelani Jordan. Jado Parker then hits a blockbuster on Lola Vice for a near fall. Jado Parker then gets a near fall on Kelani Jordan. Jado Parker then sends Lola Vice to the floor. Kelani Jordan then hits a forearm and a kick followed by an elbow. Jado Parker then hits a spine buster on Kelani Jordan for a near fall. Jada Parker then sends Kelani Jordan into the turnbuckles as they go around the ring. Jada Parker then knocks Lola Vice off the apron with a hip attack. Jada Parker then hits a back elbow and some punches on Kelani Jordan. Jada Parker then placed Kelani Jordan on the turnbuckles. Jada Parker then hits some chops on Kelani Jordan. Jada Parker then sets up for a superplex, but Lola Vice kicks Jada Parker in the back of the leg. Lola Vice then hits a power bomb for the Tower of Doom. All three women then exchange forearms. Lola Vice then hits a back heel kick on Kelani Jordan, and Jada Parker hits a back elbow on Lola Vice. Kelani Jordan then kicks Jada Parker and goes for the split-legged moonsault, but Jada Parker has her knees up. Jada Parker then hits a gore buster, but Lola Vice hits a round kick. Kelani Jordan then hits a spinning Olympic slam, and Kelani Jordan goes for a 450 splash, but Lola Vice cinches in a guillotine. Kelani Jordan then starts to go out, but Jada Parker hits a knee on Kelani Jordan. Lola Vice then gets a roll-up for the win. The winner of the WWE NXT Women's Championship No More Contenders Triple Threat match, Lola Vice. This match was good. This was a good Triple Threat No More Contenders match between Lola Vice, Kelani Jordan, and Jada Parker. Don't get me wrong. Like I said earlier, I love Lola Vice and Kelani Jordan, but justice for Jada Parker. This match should have. Now Jada Parker should have won this match, but no disrespect to Lola Vice. You know what I'm saying? Lola Vice and Kelani Jordan and Jada Parker put up a good fight. You know what I'm saying? This match was good, but in my honest opinion, they should have gave the win to Jada Parker. You know what I'm saying? Jada Parker is so talented from inside and outside the ring, and that's all I gotta say. But let me continue. We then head to the back where Tatum Paxton says she is sorry she let down the group by losing. Nico Vice then says she made them proud. Sean Spears then worries why Easy Dam didn't help. Easy Dam says Tatum Paxton didn't need help. Easy Dam then says it was because of Soruka and Zarya that she lost. Easy Dam then says she wanted Tatum Paxton to win on her own. Tatum Paxton then says they are the best. Easy Dam then says they will face Gwen Sinclair and someone else if she can find someone. Izzy Dam then says it is time to show how strong they are. Nico Vance then tells Tatum Paxton this is her moment. She then says no, Corner Catch Crew is factual and they are stronger than ever. Alright. We then get the entrances of the next match of the PLE. So we get a WWE NXT Tag Team Champions match. Hank Walker and Tank Legger versus Dark State, Dion Lennox, and Oris Griffin. And this tag team match right here, I ain't gonna lie, this was a decent tag team match. The match started off with Shaquan Sugars give some signals that Dion Lennox attacks Hank from behind. Dion Lennox then hits a clothesline on Hank by Hank once more. Hank then sends Dion Lennox into the corner and hits him with some punches. Tank then tags in and Hank then hits a splash into the corner, followed by one from Tank. Tank then hits a shoulder tackle off the turnbuckles for a near fall. Dion Lennox then hits a forearms on Arthur's Griffin, tags in, and they punch Tank. Arthur's Griffin then hits a slam. Arthur's then goes for a slam, but Tank escapes. Tank then avoids Dion Lennox, but Shaquan Sugars grabs the ankle. Hank then tags in and they square off, but James Cutler and Shaquan Sugars gets on the apron and Hank and Tank punches them on the floor. Hank and Tank then sends Dion Lennox and Arthur's Griffin over the top rope and to the floor. Hank and Tank then hits stereo suicide dives. Hank then hits some punches on Dion Lennox and follows it up with a bulldog. Hank then goes to the turnbuckle, but Dion Lennox crunches Hank. Arthur's Griffin then tags in and hits, and then he knocks Hank off the turnbuckle with a forearm. Dion Lennox then tags in and he punches Hank against the ring steps. Dion Lennox then sends Hank into the apron. Arthur then tags in and he sends Hank into the apron. Hank then hits an elbow to stop Arthur's Griffin. Arthur's Griffin then grabs the ankle and Hank kicks Osiris Griffin away. Osiris Griffin then goes for a belly to back suplex, but Hank blocks it. Osiris Griffin then keeps Hank from making the tag, and Osiris hits a power slam for a near fall. Deion Leonard then clotheslines Tank to the floor. Deion Leonard then tags in. Deion Leonard and Osiris Griffin then hits a hand Irish whip into sternum, and they get a near fall. Deion Leonard then changes in a weird chin lock on Hank. Deion Leonard then hits an Irish whip, but Tank absorbs the impact, and Hank hits a clothesline. Tank then tags in, and he hits an elbow and punches. Tank then gets a cartwheel, and he hits a double crossbody. Tank then knocks Shaquan off the apron with a shoulder tackle. Tank then hits a bubble bomb on Deion Leonard for a near fall. Hank is then sent to the floor by Osiris, and Hank drops him on the top rope. Color then sends Hank to the ring post. Deion Leonard then gets a roll up of Tank for a near fall. Deion Leonard then hits a spine buster on Osiris, tags in. They then set up for a double powerbomb on Osiris. Osiris gets a near fall. Tank then hits a chop on Osiris, but Deion Leonard tags in. They then put Tank on the turnbuckles for a double suplex, but Tank sends Osiris to the floor, and he sends Deion Leonard onto Osiris for a gore buster. Tank then hits a swanton onto both men. Hank then avoids Shaquan Sugars and James Cutler. Hank then finally gets to his corner. Hank then tags in, and he sends Osiris over the top rope to the floor. Hank then hits a bossman slam on Deion Leonard. Hank then goes up top and he hits a crossbody onto Osiris Griffin. James Cole and Shaquan Sugars, Hank and Tank then set up for the Malachi crunch and hit it. James then pulls Tank into the ring post and Tank pulls into James then pulls Tank into the ring post in the uncomfortable position where the referee was distracted by Shaquan Sugars. Deion Leonard then hits a doomsday device for the win. Alright. The winner in your new WWE NXT Tag Team Champions, Darkseid, Deion Leonard, and Osiris Griffin. And this match right here, this was a fun tag team match. What it was. We then head to the back where NXT General Manager Abel asks Alexis King what was he doing. Alexis King says he was doing Miles Bourne a favor. Abel then says she shouldn't fire him, but suspend him, and Miles Bourne wants a match. Alexis King then says Miles Bourne can't see or hear, so that means he cannot win. He then says if he wants him to wrestle a broomstick, she will. Abel then says we will have a blindfolds match on Tuesday. Alright. No Mercy is then announced as official for the War Memorial on September 27th. And Lola Vice gets her title match on that show. Alright. We then get the entrance for the next match of the PLE. TNA Knockouts World Championship Triple Threat match. Fatal Influence WWE NXT Women's Champion Jessie Jane versus Masha Slamovich versus the Elegance brand. TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions match by Elegance. And here's my only issue about this. The referee banned Jasmine Nick and Fallon Henley. So you mean to tell me during the triple threat match you gonna ban Jasmine Nick and Fallon Henley? But let this would have been Rosa Reverse. Let this would have been Alba Fire and Piper Niven would have interfered in somebody else's match. They don't get banned, but Jasmine Nick and Fallon Henley gets banned in a triple threat match. The referee, you trash. I don't know who this referee is, but the referee is trash and he is wrong. Jasmine Nick and Fallon Henley has the right to be out there. But this match right here, I ain't even gonna lie, this was a good match. I might as well say this match starts off with Ash and Masha pushing each other while Jessie Jane applauds their actions. Jessie Jane then tries to talk to them, and Jessie Jane is pushed down. Jessie Jane then gets a roll up on Ash, but Masha gets a near fall. Ash then gets a roll up on Masha for a near fall. Jessie Jane then sends Ash to the apron, and Masha hits a forearm to knock Ash off the apron. Jessie Jane then hits a neck breaker on Masha and follows it up with a cannonball on Ash. Masha then hits a corkscrew suicide dive on Jessie Jane. Jasmine Nick and Fallon Henley. Masha then hits a snapmare on Ash and follows it up with a few more and a kick to the back. Masha then gets a near fall. Masha then hits a back heel kick, and Jessie Jane trips Masha and pulls her to the floor. Jessie Jane then hits a kick on Masha from the apron. Jessie Jane then hits a head scissors takedown to Ash and follows it up with a back elbow. Jessie Jane then hits an Irish whip and a flying forearm for a near fall. Jessie Jane then hits a kick to the back and a third kick. Masha then hits a clothesline on Jessie Jane, and Masha gets a near fall on Ash. Jessie Jane then hits a third kick to send Masha to the floor. Ash then gets a roll up for a near fall. Ash then hits a spine buster and a twisted neck breaker for a near fall. Ash then hits an Irish whip on Jessie Jane and follows it up with a handspring back elbow. Ash then runs into a back elbow from Jessie Jane. Ash then hits a sit-out powerbomb for a near fall. Masha then hits some boots on Ash, and Jessie Jane hits a northern lariat. Jessie Jane then hits an Irish whip on Masha, but Masha hits a double jump springboard drop kick on Jessie Jane. Masha then hits a Yakuza kick on Ash, and she hits a neck breaker on Jessie Jane. That leads into a DDT on Ash. Masha then gets a near fall. Jessie Jane then drops kicks Masha into the turnbuckles. Jessie Jane then hits a cannonball on Masha and Ash, but she missed on the second attempt on Masha. Masha then hits a running death volley driver on Jessie Jane into Ash in the corner for a near fall. Masha then goes for a slam on Jessie Jane, but Jessie Jane escapes. Masha then hits a forearm and Jessie Jane fires back. They then continue to exchange. They then go to slap and they continue to the exchange. Masha then hits a kick and Jessie Jane sends Masha to the apron, and Jessie Jane hits a jumping knee. Jessie Jane then hits a hanging swinging neck breaker for a near fall. Ash then pulls Masha into the corner and she goes to the turnbuckles, but misses a moonsault. Jessie Jane then hits a back senton off the turnbuckles for a near fall. Jessie Jane then hits a Yakuza kick and she puts Masha on the turnbuckles. Jessie Jane then slaps Masha and goes for a superplex. Masha then blocks it and she headbutts Jessie Jane to the mat. Jessie Jane then hits a kick on Masha. Jessie Jane then goes for a Frankensteiner and hits it. Jessie Jane then hits a running third kick and Ash hits a Meteor to break up the cover. Ash then gets the cover on Jessie Jane, but Fallon Henley puts Jessie Jane's foot on the bottom But Fallon Henley puts Jessie Jane's foot on the rope to break the count. When they have an argument on the floor and the referee sends Jasmine Nick and Fallon Henley to the back. That was a big mistake right there by the referee. How dare you send Jasmine Nick and Fallon Henley to the back? They have a right to be out there. That referee is trash, like I said earlier. But anyway, let me continue. It says, we then have an argument on the floor, and the referee sends Jasmine Nick and Fallon Henley to the back. So Jasmine Nick and Fallon Henley are banned from ringside doing the triple threat match, which that don't make sense. Masha then gets a near fall, and Masha drops Jessie Jane on the apron. Ash then hits a crossbody on Masha and Jessie Jane. Ash then gets a near fall on Masha. Ash then runs into a round kick and a spin kick. Ash then blocks a knee, and Ash hits a knee on Masha. Ash then hits a tornado DDT on Masha and follows it up with a moonsault. Jessie Jane then hits a knee on Ash and she gets a near fall on Masha. Masha then avoids a knee, and Masha gets a roll up for a near fall. Jessie Jane then hits a rolling elbow, but Jessie Jane is pulled out of the ring. Ash then goes up top and hits a rapid fire air on Masha for the win. And the winner of the triple threat match and your new TNA Knockouts World Champion, the Allegiance brand TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, Ash by Elegance. This was a good triple threat match, but the referee was wrong by banning Jasmine and Fallon Henley. You know what I'm saying? Jessie Jane should have retained, but it is what it is. But I'm so happy by Ash by Elegance on becoming a TNA Women's Knockouts Champion. Well deserved, and that's all I gotta say. We then head back. We then head to the back where Ricky Saint shows up to check up on Javon Evans. He says he didn't think Javon Evans will make it. He then says Javon Evans belongs here and prove what Undertaker said is true. Javon Evans then says he is sore, but he has a bigger mountain to climb. He then says he is going to leave as the NXT champion. Ricky Saints then says Undertaker wouldn't have said that if he didn't believe in him. He then says the people believe in him and he believes in Javon Evans. Ricky Saints then says Javon Evans is going to do what no one has done, dethrone over family. He then says he will be he will be waiting on the other side of the golden opportunity. Javon Evans then says things will be bouncy. Alright. It is then announced that Halloween Havoc will take place on October 25th in Prescott Valley, Arizona. Alright. We then get the entrance of the next PLE match. So we get the singles match, the Juggernaut Jordan Grace versus the Glamour Blake Monroe. And I called it straight down the middle that Blake Monroe was going to go over Jordan Grace, and I called it straight down the middle. And this match right here, this was a decent match. Alright, but I'm glad that Blake Monroe won. Alright, let's move on. The match starts off with Blake Monroe slapping Jordan Grace, and Blake Monroe decides to leave the ring, but Jordan Grace stops her. She then tries to hide behind the announcer, and they do some cardio around the ring. Jordan Grace then hits a death press and some punches. Blake Monroe then hits some punches. Jordan Grace then hits some more punches and a slap. Jordan Grace then hits a revenge gut wrench. Blake Monroe then hits a punch. Jordan Grace then hits a stretch muffler suplex. Both women then go to the floor, and Jordan Grace hits some punches and a fall-away slam on the floor. Jordan Grace then carries Blake Monroe back to the ring steps, but Blake Monroe gets to her feet, and she drowns Jordan Grace on the ring steps. Blake Monroe then kicks Jordan Grace's elbow. Blake Monroe then kicks Jordan Grace as Jordan Grace returns to the ring, and she focuses on the elbow. Blake Monroe then gets the arm wringer on for a near fall. Blake Monroe then kicks Jordan Grace in the head against the ropes. Blake Monroe then hits a drop kick against the ropes. Jordan Grace then goes to the floor, and Blake Monroe follows. Blake Monroe then pulls Jordan Grace's arm into the ring post a few times, despite Jordan Grace's attempts to block it. Both women then return to the ring, and Blake Monroe goes to near fall. Blake Monroe then changes in a full Nelson into a cross arm breaker attempt, but Jordan Grace locks her hand, and Jordan Grace then gets a near fall with a roll up. Blake Monroe then hits a kick to the arm. Blake Monroe then wraps the arm in the ropes. Blake Monroe then runs into a boot, and Jordan Grace floats over and kicks Blake Monroe. Jordan Grace then hits an Irish whip, but Blake Monroe responds with a kick to the arm and follows it up with sling blade for a near fall. Blake Monroe then gets an armbar, but Jordan Grace picks up Blake Monroe and hits a slingshot suplex. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe then exchange forearms. Blake Monroe then hits a kick to the arm, and Jordan Grace hits a series of forearms. Jordan Grace then sends Blake Monroe into the turnbuckles and goes for a backslide, but rolls Blake Monroe through and hits a short arm clothesline. Jordan Grace then misses a clothesline. but hits a back elbow. Jordan Grace then hits a spinebuster and a jackhammer for a near fall. Blake Monroe then kicks Jordan Grace in the arm, and Jordan Grace goes for a reverse Alabama slam. But Blake Monroe takes off the turnbuckle pad. Jordan Grace then hits a German suplex for a near fall. Jordan Grace then goes for O'Connor roll, but Blake Monroe counters into a face plant and an armbar submission. Jordan Grace then gets a near fall with a curve kick. Blake Monroe then hits a knee for a near fall. Blake Monroe then goes for a butterfly suplex, but Jordan Grace hits a back body drop. Jordan Grace then gets Blake Monroe on her shoulders for a suplex, and she gets a near fall. Jordan Grace then kicks Blake Monroe in the shoulder. Jordan Grace then gets Blake Monroe on her shoulders, but Blake Monroe escapes and hits a headbutt. Jordan Grace then hits a back elbow. Blake Monroe then hits another headbutt and a running knee. Blake Monroe then hits a Sato suplex for a near fall. Blake Monroe then hits a suplex for a near fall. Blake Monroe then hits some kicks in the corner, and she places Jordan Grace on the turnbuckle. Jordan Grace then blocks a handstand Cardinals, and she hits a sit-out powerbomb for the turnbuckle for a near fall. Blake Monroe then hits a drop toe hold into the exposed turnbuckle, but Jordan Grace stops short. Blake Monroe then hits a curb stomp and sends Jordan Grace into the turnbuckles. Blake Monroe then hits a DDT for the win. When Blake Monroe hits that curb stomp, she did the exact same thing how Seth Rollins did. Alright, it says the winner of the singles match, the Glamour Blake Monroe, which I called it straight down the middle that Blake Monroe is going to go over Juggernaut Jordan Grace. But this match right here, this was a good match, a pretty good match right here. Well, yeah, this was a good match too. I might as well say this was a good match. After the match, Blake Monroe celebrates her win. We then see Jada Parker squalling with a Maddie backstage about her loss into a roll-up. Last Lashley then shows up to talk trash. Jada Parker then brings up Last Lashley getting squashed by Nia Jax. You know what? Last Lashley and Jada Parker then has to be pulled apart. Alright. We then see Sarah Screever talking to Jessie Jane, and she brings up how she wasn't paying for her recent loss. Jessie Jane then yells at Jasmine for getting her and Fallen Henley kicked out. Lola Vice then shows up to talk trash to Jessie Jane. Daria and Saruga then shows up to have Lola Vice back. So you already know that Lola Vice is coming for Jessie Jane's NXT Women's Championship. I think Lola Vice is going to take the title off of Jessie Jane at NXT Halloween Havoc. But we'll see. Big Joseph then hypes NXT returning to Full Sail on September 16th for a homecoming theme show. Alright. We then get the entrance for the next PLE. So we get the mixed tag team match, Chelsea Green and WWE NXT North America Champion All Ego Ethan Page, WWE LFG Season 1 winner Tyra May Steele and Tavion Heights. And this tag team match right here, this was a solid tag team match. This was a solid mixed tag team match. The match starts with Tara and Chelsea Green, but Chelsea Green not acknowledges to get in the ring. Chelsea Green then misses a kick when Tara turns her back. Tara then hits a modified gator roll. She then puts Chelsea Green in a bow and arrow. Tavion Heights then sends Ethan Page into Chelsea Green's knee with a drop toe hold. They both then roll through and get Chelsea Green and Ethan Page on their shoulders and sends them to the apron and to the floor. Ethan Page then gets on the mic and he says they are not giving them citizenship. Ethan Page then tags in Tavion Heights. Ethan Page and Tavion Heights tags in enters as well. Ethan Page then hits a knee to some punches. Both men then exchange punches. Tavion Heights and then hits an Irish whip, but Ethan Page responds with a boot and some punches. Tavion Heights then hits a scoop, hits a chop, and Ethan Page hits a punch of his own. Ethan Page then sends Tavion Heights into the turnbuckles. Page then hits a suplex for a near fall. Ethan Page then changes in a reverse chin lock. and Tavion Heights then hits some elbows. Tavion Heights then avoids a clothesline and hits one of his own. Ethan Page then hits a kick, but Tavion Heights responds with a Irish whip. Both men then hits headbutts. Chelsea Green then pulls Tara May still off the apron to prevent the tag. Ethan Page then hits a leaping facebuster for a near fall. Chelsea Green then tags in and Tavion Heights blocks a slap. Tara May still then hits a spear and a double leg takedown, and she collapses. And then she catapults Chelsea Green into a Page on the apron. Chelsea Green then hits a drop toe hold into the ropes, and Chelsea Green hits a knee straight to the back. Chelsea Green then gets a near fall. Chelsea Green then slams Tara's head into the mat. Chelsea Green then sends Tara into the turnbuckles. Chelsea Green and Tara May still then miss a clothesline, and they each go for a crossbody at the same time, and they go down. Ethan Page then tags in, and Tavion Heights hits some clotheslines and suplexes. Tavion Heights then hits another clothesline and a jackhammer for a near fall. Chelsea Green then hits a knee. Tavion Heights back, and Ethan Page hits a kick. Both men then hits a boot to the head at the same time. Tara May still then tags in, and she hits a gut wrench suplex on Page. Tara May still then hits a clothesline on Chelsea Green and follows it up with a second one. Tara May still then hits another clothesline and a spine buster. Tara May still goes for a German suplex on Ethan Page, and Alabama Fire holds on while Piper Niven distracts the referee. See, Piper Niven and Alba Fire should have been banned from ringside, but you so quick to be banning Jasmine Nick and Fallen Hanley. That don't make any sense. Then Tara May still then hits the German suplex while Ethan Page gives Alba Fire a follow-away slam. Tara May still then hits an ankle lock on Ethan Page. Tavion Heights and Ethan Page then go floor to floor. Alba Fire then hits a super kick on Tara May still, and Chelsea Green hits the unprettier for the win. The winner of the mixed tag team match, Chelsea Green and WWE NXT North American Champion All Eagle Ethan Page. Alright, let's move on. That was a solid mixed tag team match. We then head to the back where Josh Briggs approaches Overfemi. Josh Briggs says he thinks Overfemi's reign is going to end tonight due to Javon Evans being a kid of destiny. Josh Briggs then says it looks like the grind is wearing down for Overfemi. Overfemi then says Josh Briggs' opinion are significant. Josh Briggs then says he's next in line after dealing with Josh Garner and nobody is holding him back. Josh Briggs then wishes Overfemi luck. Sarah Screamer then interviews NXT General Manager Ava, and Ava then hypes up upcoming NXT Homecoming, No Mercy, and Halloween Havoc shows. Ava then announces that the WWE Speed title are now the NXT titles. Ava then announced an NXT, TNA, WWE, or AAA wrestler challenge Soruka for the Speed title at NXT No Mercy. Alright, let's move on. Big Joseph then runs through the advertised match for the NXT this coming Tuesday. We then get a video package looking at the WWE NXT Championship. We then get the entrance of the main event of the PLE. So we get the main event of the evening. This match I've been waiting for. So we get the main event of the evening. So we get WWE NXT Championship match. The ruler and of Destroyer and the ruler of NXT, Overfemi versus the young OG, bouncy Javon Evans. Now this match right here, I ain't even gonna lie. This was a good main event match, but Javon Evans should have won. The crowd will be will explode if Javon Evans will beat Overfemi for the NXT Championship. That the crowd would explode if Javon Evans would have beat. The crowd would explode if Javon Evans would beat Overfemi to become the new NXT champion, but that didn't happen. But when is Javon Evans gonna get his time? So that's all I gotta say. And one more thing that I have to say. Ricky Saints is not going to dethrone Overfemi. And that's all I gotta say. And that's nothing but facts. But this main event match was good too. The match starts off with Obafemi missing a punch and Giovanni Evans hitting Obafemi with a punch of his own. Giovanni Evans then avoids Obafemi and Obafemi blocks a kick. Obafemi then hits a single leg sweep. Giovanni Evans then changes in a wrist lock and he tries for a German suplex. He cannot get Obafemi up. Obafemi then hits a shoulder tackle. Giovanni Evans then hits a chop and Obafemi backs Giovanni Evans into the corner. But Giovanni Evans hits a chop. Obafemi then hits a chop of his own and he sets up for a power bomb. But Giovanni Evans escapes and tries for a third kick and Obafemi blocks it. Giovanni Evans then hits a chop. Obafemi then goes for a power bomb, but Giovanni Evans escapes and he chops Obafemi. Obafemi then catches Giovanni Evans on a collar and hits a back body drop, and Giovanni Evans lands on his feet. Obafemi then hits a running shoulder tackle. Obafemi then tosses Giovanni Evans into the turnbuckles. Obafemi then hits an elbow to the back of the head. Obafemi then hits a snapmare and a kick to the back. Obafemi then hits an Irish whip on Giovanni Evans to slide to the apron and avoids Obafemi. Giovanni Evans then hits a springboard crossbody, but Obafemi catches Giovanni Evans and sends him to the turnbuckles. Giovanni Evans then hits a super kick. Giovanni Evans then hits a third kick for a near fall. Giovanni Evans then comes off the turnbuckles, but he sees Obafemi put up his knees, so he stops short and hits a double stomp. Giovanni Evans then hits a slingshot head scissors takedown. Obafemi then goes to the floor and he sets for a suicide dive, but he slows down. Obafemi gets Giovanni Evans by the throat. Giovanni Evans then hits a kick and avoids a chop from Obafemi. But Obafemi does not miss the second time. Obafemi then presses Giovanni Evans and sends him to the top rope, back into the ring. Obafemi then stands on Giovanni Evans' ribs. Obafemi then presses Giovanni Evans over his head and he hits a gut buster for a near fall. Obafemi then stretches Giovanni Evans and applies a weird chin lock. Obafemi then changes in a side headlock and Giovanni Evans goes for a belly to back suplex and Obafemi adjusts his position to just lure a press for a near fall. Obafemi then hits a chop. Obafemi then goes for a power slam, but Giovanni Evans goes to the apron. Giovanni Evans then slides under and he chops Obafemi and kicks Obafemi. Then he sends him to the floor. Giovanni Evans then set to go to the floor, but Obafemi recovers and hits a spine buster for a near fall. Obafemi then hits a hard Irish whip. Obafemi then hits another hard Irish whip. Giovanni Evans then slides to the corner on an Irish whips and he kicks Obafemi. Giovanni Evans then hits some forearms. Giovanni Evans then hits a forearm and a second one. Obafemi then hits a back breaker and a choke slam for a near fall. Obafemi then hits a headbutt. Obafemi then hits a forearm to the back. Obafemi then pie face Giovanni Evans and says he says Obafemi then pie face Giovanni Evans and he says some things to Giovanni Evans, to him. Giovanni Evans then hits a forearm and punches as he avoids punches from Obafemi. Giovanni Evans then hits more punches in the corner. Obafemi then sends Giovanni Evans to the apron, and Giovanni Evans responds with a punch. Giovanni Evans then goes for a springboard clothesline and hits it. Giovanni Evans then hits a rebound kick for a near fall. Obafemi then goes for a slam, but Giovanni Evans counters it with a DDT. Giovanni Evans then goes to the turnbuckles and he hits a fall splash, but he may have hurt his knee due to the landing. Giovanni Evans then goes to the apron. Again, he goes up top. Giovanni Evans then hits a fall splash and he gets a near fall. Giovanni Evans then hits punches on Obafemi's midsection. Obafemi then hits a forearm to the jaw and hits a boot. Giovanni Evans then hits a German suplex and Obafemi pops up and hits a clothesline. Obafemi then hits a running uppercut into the corner in a second one. Giovanni Evans then hits a cutter when Obafemi goes for a third one. Over Family then hits a forearms as Giovanni Evans comes off the ropes for the double jump. Color and Over Family gets a near fall. Over Family then gets Giovanni Evans up and he goes to the turnbuckles. Giovanni Evans then hits some elbows and he goes to the apron. Giovanni Evans then sets up for a move off the turnbuckles. Over Family pushes Giovanni Evans off the Over Family pushes Giovanni Evans off and Giovanni Evans hits the referee. Over Family then blocks a Frankensteiner on Over Family goes for a power bomb. Giovanni Evans then counters with their Hurricanrana. Giovanni Evans then hits a cutter and a double jump cutter. Giovanni Evans then covers and the new referee makes the 3 count. But the original referee saw Over Family's foot under the rope and the match continues. Giovanni Evans then goes up top and he missed a twisted splash off the turnbuckles. Over Family then tosses Giovanni Evans from the ring through the announcer desk. Over Family then sends Giovanni Evans back into the ring and he hits the pop-up powerbomb for the win. The winner and still your WWE NXT champion, the ruler of NXT, Over Family. This was a good main event match. But take my money to see Braun Breaker versus Over Family. That would be a dream match right there. Take my money to see Over Family versus Braun Breaker. And that's all I gotta say. But this was a good match. Alright. After the match, highlights for the match is shown. I'm sorry. Let me read that one more time. The winner of the match is still your WWE champion, WWE NXT champion, the ruler of NXT Over Family. Alright, let's move on. After the match, highlights from the match is shown. Ricky Saints then makes his way down to the ring to confront Over Family as well as Over Family is celebrating. Over Family and Ricky Saints then face off and the executive producers credits are shown as the show comes to a close. And it says let me read this right quick. Match and key moment scheduled for WWE NXT HeatWave against HeatWave on August 24th, 2025. WWE NXT champion, the ruler of NXT, Over Family, defeated the young OG Giovanni Evans. TNA Knockouts World Championship Triple Threat match. Where was I? It says Jesse Jane versus Masha, Slamovic versus the Allegiant brand, TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, Ash by Allegiance defeated Jesse Jane. Men's Tag Team match, Chelsea Green and WWE NXT North America Champion All Eagle Ethan Page defeated LFG Season 1 winner Tyra Mayfield in Tabion Heights. WWE NXT Women's Championship No One Contenders Triple Threat match, Jada Parker versus Kehlani Jordan versus Lola Vice, which is Lola Vice defeated Kehlani Jordan and Jada Parker to become the number 1 contender for the WWE NXT Women's Championship. Then we have right here WWE NXT Tag Team Championship match. Hanging Tank lost to the Dark State, Dion Lennox and Oris Griffin, and that's all I gotta say. Singles matches: the Juggernaut Jordan Grace lost to Blake Monroe, the Glamour Blake Monroe, and that's all I gotta say. WWE NXT HeatWave goes off the air. All right, let me give my honest opinion of what I think about WWE NXT HeatWave. Now, WWE NXT HeatWave was a very good show, in my honest opinion. Like I said, AEW Forbidden Door was a good show, but the show was too long by itself. Just like WWE NXT HeatWave was a good show. And that's all I gotta say. So AEW Forbidden Door and NXT HeatWave was they both were good shows. But AEW Forbidden Door, even though AEW Forbidden Door was a good show, but the match was it was too long at the same time. But WWE NXT HeatWave was a very good show. The match card looked good. The women's division on NXT, they killed it. And this is the reason why NXT women's division is carrying NXT to this day. But it is what it is. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my WWE NXT HeatWave review and highlights, make sure you guys please watch the video from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content I do on the channel. And comment down below what you guys think of WWE NXT HeatWave. I want to hear your thoughts and your own opinions down below in the comment section. And I'm going to let the comment section speak for itself as well, too. But anyway, I'm finna get up out of here. I'm finna go edit my WWE NXT review and highlights, and then I'm gonna review. Then I'm gonna premiere. Then I'm gonna have a upcoming world premiere for my WWE NXT HeatWave review and highlights at around 5 o'clock a.m. So I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here, gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.